Arizona is facing an unexpected winter turn as a sharp surge of cold air sweeps across the state, converting rain into accumulating snow and reshaping conditions across large portions of the high country. What unfolded gradually earlier in the week has now accelerated into a full-scale winter weather event, with snowfall spreading far beyond the highest elevations and into communities unaccustomed to sustained winter impacts. Behind a passing cold front, temperatures have dropped rapidly, allowing snow levels to sink toward 5,000 feet in some areas. This shift has expanded the storm's footprint, bringing accumulating snow to northern and eastern Arizona, while intensifying conditions across mountain regions. Roads that typically remain wet during winter storms are now snow-covered. Visibility is declining, and travel risks are increasing by the hour. From major interstate corridors to rural mountain towns, the state is navigating a rare convergence of cold, wind, and efficient snowfall. Officials warn that this storm is not just about what falls from the sky, but what follows: freezing temperatures, refreezing roads, and lingering hazards that can persist well after snowfall ends. For a region more familiar with extreme heat than winter storms, Arizona is entering a critical weather phase, one that demands heightened awareness, careful planning, and respect for rapidly changing conditions. As the cold air mass deepened, the storm expanded in both intensity and reach, pushing snowfall into areas that rarely experience prolonged winter weather. Snow levels continued to fall steadily, dropping toward 5,000 feet, a threshold that allowed accumulation to spread well beyond Arizona's highest peaks. This marked a significant escalation in impacts, especially for communities with limited winter preparedness. The most consistent and hazardous snowfall developed above 6,500 feet, where colder air became firmly entrenched. Regions including the Mogollon Rim, Kaibab Plateau, White Mountains, Black Mesa, and the Chusca Mountains experienced steady snowfall that quickly transformed landscapes and travel conditions. In these areas, snow accumulated efficiently as surface temperatures remained below freezing, preventing melting between snow bands. In Flagstaff, snowfall intensified as the storm matured. Intermittent snow earlier in the event gave way to more persistent accumulation, with forecasts calling for 3 to 6 inches by Thursday night, and locally higher totals near Arizona Snowbowl and other locations approaching 8,000 feet. Each round of snowfall erased progress made by road crews, forcing repeated clearing efforts across city streets and highways. Farther east, higher elevations in the White Mountains saw longer-lasting snow as colder air lingered. Lower terrain experienced rain or brief rain-snow transitions, but above the elevation threshold, accumulation continued through the evening. Meteorologists emphasized that this storm was producing cold, low-density snow, allowing even moderate snowfall rates to create significant impacts once pavement temperatures dropped. Winter weather advisories remain in effect across northern and eastern Arizona, signaling that hazardous conditions are likely to persist beyond the storm's peak. Travel conditions across northern Arizona worsened quickly as snowfall combined with gusty winds, creating an increasingly unstable transportation environment. Blowing snow became a major factor, pushing fresh accumulation back onto roadways and sharply reducing visibility. These conditions were especially dangerous along Interstate 40 near Flagstaff and Interstate 17 south toward Munns Park, where drifting snow and sudden whiteouts developed with little warning. In many cases, pavement conditions changed within minutes. Roads that appeared merely wet quickly became snow-packed as rotating snow bands passed overhead. Drivers encountered sudden drops in visibility, obscured lane markings, and rapidly forming drifts that made travel unpredictable and hazardous. Transportation officials were warned that even treated roads could not remain clear under these conditions, as wind-driven snow repeatedly refilled cleared lanes. Snowfall rates periodically increased, overwhelming plow operations and forcing crews to cycle the same stretches of highway multiple times. Emergency responders reported an increase in weather-related incidents, including vehicles sliding off roads and motorists becoming stranded in low-visibility zones. Authorities urged drivers to delay travel unless absolutely necessary, particularly during the Thursday evening and overnight hours when conditions were expected to peak. East of Flagstaff, mountain highways serving the White Mountains faced similar challenges. Reduced traction, blowing snow, and falling temperatures created high-risk conditions across higher terrain. Officials emphasized that the danger extended beyond active snowfall. As colder air settled in behind the storm, untreated surfaces were expected to refreeze, significantly increasing the risk of black ice, particularly on bridges, shaded curves, and mountain passes. Motorists were warned that the most dangerous moments often arrive after the snow stops falling. As snowfall gradually eases, a deeper and more persistent threat is taking hold across northern and eastern Arizona. Behind the departing storm, colder air is settling in, driving temperatures sharply lower and extending hazardous conditions well beyond the period of active snowfall. Meteorologists warn that clearing skies will allow heat to escape rapidly overnight, accelerating refreezing across roads, sidewalks, and untreated surfaces. This pattern creates ideal conditions for black ice, one of the most dangerous winter hazards. Snow that partially melts during daylight hours can refreeze into a nearly invisible layer once temperatures fall, particularly in shaded areas, mountain passes, bridges, and elevated roadways. Even roads that appear dry can conceal slick patches capable of causing sudden loss of vehicle control. By Friday morning, much of Arizona's high country is expected to remain below freezing throughout the day, with overnight lows dropping into the single digits in colder valleys. These temperatures will slow melting and allow snowpack to linger longer than usual, keeping roads snow-covered or icy well into the weekend. Officials caution that the risk of accidents often increases during this phase, as drivers assume conditions have improved. Snow removal operations continue across affected regions, but progress is limited by persistent, cold, and drifting snow. Crews are working to widen roadways, clear intersections, and reduce snowbanks, while emergency services remain on alert for weather-related incidents. Beyond transportation, extended freezing raises concerns for homes and infrastructure. Frozen pipes, mechanical failures, and increased heating demand are all possible as temperatures remain locked below normal. Authorities are urging residents to take precautions and check on vulnerable neighbors as the cold settles in. This storm has shifted from a snowfall event to a prolonged winter challenge. As winter conditions persist, the storm's impact is being felt across daily life in northern and eastern Arizona. Communities that rarely experience prolonged snow are now adapting to icy roads, delayed services, and disrupted routines. Schools in higher elevations adjusted schedules or suspended classes as buses struggled to operate safely on snow-covered routes. In some rural areas, transportation delays left families temporarily isolated. Businesses faced similar challenges. Employees navigated hazardous commutes, deliveries slowed, and some operations scaled back as conditions worsened. In mountain towns, residents spent hours clearing driveways, walkways, and rooftops, only to face refreezing temperatures that hardened snow and ice overnight. What could not be cleared safely was often left in place, adding to the strain on mobility. Local governments and emergency management agencies remained in a heightened state of readiness. Snow removal crews worked extended shifts, prioritizing main roads, emergency routes, and access points for medical services. Authorities issued repeated advisories urging residents to avoid unnecessary travel and to prepare vehicles with winter safety supplies, such as blankets, food, water, and extra fuel. Infrastructure also felt the pressure of sustained cold. Heating systems ran continuously, driving higher energy demand, while frozen pipes and equipment failures became a concern, particularly in buildings not designed for extended freezing temperatures. Officials encouraged residents to conserve energy where possible and to protect exposed plumbing. Despite the challenges, communities showed resilience. Neighbors helped one another dig out, shared resources, and checked on elderly residents. In a state defined by heat, drought, and wildfire, this winter storm has become a reminder that preparedness must extend beyond familiar hazards. For many, daily life remains paused as the storm's effects continue to unfold. This winter storm is drawing attention not simply because of snowfall totals, but because of its breadth, timing, and impact across a region unaccustomed to prolonged winter conditions. Snow spreading across such a wide portion of northern Arizona in early January highlights the strength of the cold air mass driving this system. Once temperatures fell below freezing, even modest snowfall rates translated into meaningful accumulation and extended disruption. Meteorologists point to the rapid transition from rain to snow as a key factor in the storm's impact. When precipitation changes type within a short window, road crews and travelers often have little time to adjust. Wet pavement freezes quickly, creating hazardous conditions before warnings fully register with the public. This dynamic played out across multiple elevation zones during the storm. The system also reflects a broader trend of increasingly volatile winter weather across the western United States. Strong contrasts between warm Pacific moisture and Arctic air intrusions are allowing storms to intensify rapidly and behave less predictably. These shifts increase the likelihood of snow events reaching lower elevations and producing outsized impacts in regions with limited winter infrastructure. Officials stress that storms like this underscore the importance of preparedness beyond traditional climate expectations. Arizona may not experience snow frequently, but when it does, the consequences can be significant. Transportation, emergency response, and energy systems are all tested when cold persists longer than anticipated. As conditions slowly improve heading into the weekend, the legacy of this storm will remain visible in snow-packed roads, icy surfaces, and colder than normal mornings. For residents and officials alike, this event serves as a reminder that winter hazards do not respect regional stereotypes, and preparedness must adapt to a changing climate reality. As Arizona moves toward gradual improvement, officials caution that the final chapter of this storm has not yet been written. Lingering snowpack, persistent cold, and refreezing conditions will continue to shape daily life across the high country for several days. Roads that appear clear during daylight hours may quickly become hazardous again after sunset, as melting snow refreezes into slick, invisible ice. Emergency managers are urging residents to remain cautious, particularly during early morning and late-night travel. Allow extra time on the roads, carry winter safety supplies, and stay informed through official weather updates. The period after snowfall ends is often when complacency sets in, and when accident risk rises. This event has tested Arizona in unfamiliar ways. From mountain highways under pressure to communities adjusting to sustained cold, the storm has exposed vulnerabilities while also highlighting resilience. Neighbors helping neighbors, crews working extended hours, and communities adapting on the fly have all played a role in navigating this rare winter challenge. If this coverage helped you understand what's happening and why it matters, consider supporting the channel by liking the video, sharing it with others who may be affected, and subscribing for clear, fact-based severe weather reporting. Staying informed can make the difference when conditions change quickly. As temperatures slowly moderate and recovery continues, the lesson remains clear. Winter risks, even in the Southwest, demand respect, preparation, and vigilance.